Alrighty, we're going to dive right into this one. This is take 2, because in my first take, I talked for 10-15 minutes without realizing I was on mute the entire time. Hi, welcome. We are talking about today's prototype. Today's prototype is fun and exciting. Let's see here. I think I can do this guy. We are talking about, as per this week's poll. Actually, I should probably bring that up. Make a nice visual here. Let's put me back here. One second. Here we are. So, this button here. All right. So this week's poll, we were looking at different snow-related options, and this time around, we found people really wanted to see weather on map and nav integrations, better integration between the mapping and navigation system and weather information. Today, there is a little bit of information shown in the car, but I do mean a little bit. If we have our main screen here for the vehicle, push the right buttons in the right order. There we go. So we've got the main screen for the vehicle here. Up here in the top bar, it tells you the current temperature for the current location. And that's handy to have. But what about your destination? And that got me thinking about the fact that on airplanes, you get on, you're flying somewhere that is, far enough away to be a place that you'd fly to. And the pilot will get on and will say, good morning, our weather at our destination is going to be, sunny and 75. So I hope you brought sandals, blah, 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 blah. That whole thing tells you about not just where you are, but where you're going. And the car also knows where you're going. So that made this interesting, I think. Pilots will also tell you about any sort of turbulence you expect along the way. So it makes me think, okay, what are the in-car equivalents of those sorts of things? So yesterday I sat down and put together this sort of these marching orders, I guess you'd call them. Let's see, today's prototype: weather map integration, driving principle, bring weather to the navigation experience. Let's see, which one is it? Wrong one. Not that one, this one. No, not that one either. How do you hide the UI? I did that. Oh, it's wired to two things. Okay. Let's see. Bring weather to the navigation experience to increase driver context. Give driver better context about how weather relates to the driving that they're doing. Putting in the parking lot, things I'm not doing just yet. Weather and how it impacts range. I think that's really interesting to explore. I know right now, if you're taking a trip, the vehicle will account for any changes in altitude that you encounter. We know that affects your mileage, but we also know that cold weather really affects your mileage. And so if you're driving from somewhere that is pretty mild to somewhere that is, icy conditions, it would be worth knowing how that might affect your battery life. We're not going to work on that for this project because I want to make sure we keep things as tight and tidy as possible so we can actually get a prototype built and turned around in short order. But if this is something you want to see and you're just interested in exploring more in the future, please speak up and we can get this on, put it up for a vote for a future prototype. So let's see. Solutions proposed. Integrate a weather map into the map interface as a type of data layer that can be switched on and off. Most folks have seen this before. The ability to take maybe Google Maps and you can turn on a layer of information and switch it off. So that's pretty straightforward. I have here in bold the things that I'll need to do. Notes to self, a visual overlay, a visual of what that overlay looks like. Really hard to do a demo about this without one of those. And then UI elements to show and hide the overlay, just the switch to turn it on and off. Figuring out where that goes and what that looks like and how it functions. And then let's see here, expand upon weather for current location beyond the temperature alone as we have it today. So we have that number up in the corner, but it would be interesting, I think, to explore things like, clear, rain soon, right? To put more context into the weather information that's being given to us. Knowing that it is 45 degrees outside is helpful. Knowing that it is about to snow or rain in the next 5 minutes, probably just as helpful, if not more helpful. Let's see here. So let's see. Integrate weather into navigation directions. We're talking about going back to the last one for a hot second. Do we want to make this a drop-down widget or a modal? Do we want to embed it just as a line of text in that top bar? Don't know. Worth exploring. Let's see. Integrate weather into navigation directions, at the very least indicating if there are expected problems around the time of arrival. So I'm going to a place that, when I get to the place, is it expected to be snowy, rainy, icy? Let me know about my destination or maybe the waypoints along the way or charging stops along the way. So I said that here, maybe begin with weather at waypoints and stops. Include the information in the tooltips. I think it's one way of doing things. I think it'd be also interesting and perhaps more valuable to indicate any problems along the route. So I'm going somewhere and there is expected snow, halfway along, alerting me to the fact that at or around the time that I plan to be in that area, they are expecting snow. That would be valuable to me. So it doesn't have to be every inch of the road that is telling me this thing, but like known issues, make sure we show those. And then I really like this idea, talking about like the captain's briefing before the flight. I think it'd be really interesting if you have like a longer trip, you're going somewhere, not like your regular commute, but you're driving somewhere that you had to plan for. It's a road trip. It's something that, there's maybe some anxiety or maybe some excitement about, to be a part of that. I made a little note over here. Long drives can be exciting. Share the excitement with them. So for example, you get the captain getting on the microphone and, megaphone or whatever it's called, and telling people in the cabin about what the trip is going to be like, whether the destination is going to be like. Imagine you got in your car, you're told you're going to drive somewhere far away, and it says, "Good morning, passengers. Today's destination is South Lake Tahoe, where it is expected to be 42 degrees Fahrenheit upon arrival. Today's trip is expected to take 4.5 hours, with a 30-minute stop to charge in Truckee at 1:15 p.m. We're expecting cloudy skies for most of the trip, with snowy conditions near Truckee. Thank you for riding with Tesla." I think that's really cool. So I want to explore how that works in the car. It's one thing to say, a car could say this. Okay, under what conditions? Can I turn it off? And how do you demo that? Another one of these big questions. So I have myself a basic video outline of how I plan to demo that. I've started going through and taking the actual screens here, base templates, making them into a more editable form. So I actually had to go through and remake a number of these icons that were used here. Previously, they were just screenshots because the map wasn't going to move, but now the map moves. We need to actually update things. So for example, here's the old just icons sitting, screenshots just pasted on top of the map. It doesn't look like it's a part of the actual map interface. It looks a little bit, crummy and kind of pasted on there. Same thing with over here. Just these icons sitting on gray in the middle of, this big colorful backdrop. Kind of stands out and feels a little uncanny valley. This is especially bad right here. And as the map moves around, it becomes worse. So this is the one we just saw. Oh, let me switch modes here so you can see better. So again, this is the base map we've been using. This is the one we've just been looking at that has all these cutouts here that aren't quite working right. And this is one where I went and actually remade a whole bunch of these stinking icons to make it easier, rather to make it more seamlessly blended in with the page. Some of these icons were just freaking annoying to make, but hey, they're done now. I think I've got 2 icons here left to do. But with that, I should have a much better base template for this, because now that I went and gone and done that work, I now have a map as a layer here in the background that I can move in an integrated way So it can look and feel a lot more like an actual in-car map, which is kind of the point. A good prototype needs to sort of feel real to folks. So last thing I'll say is, as far as the UI element for making the mapping information appear, I was picturing something like this, where you've got the icons on the screen. I think they sit on the top corner here, not the bottom, but maybe if you were to tap on the icon in question, doing so would slide open with the different types of weather maps overlays that you might want to see. Maybe we put a key in the corner. I don't know. We'll play with it. So that's kind of where we are. Got a kind of a broad outline for what we're trying to accomplish, where we're trying to get with this thing. Got these base maps here that I'll be able to use. For example, turn on and off the heat map layer, that sort of thing. So yeah, today I'm going to whip out mock-ups of what all this looks like, and then see if I can get some distance down the road into stitching them together into realistic prototypes. That is where I am. So with that, I am going to save what is left of my voice. It seems to have come back quite well over the past several days. I'm very happy because I've been waiting. But I'm going to pump the brakes, make sure I don't overuse it, and get cracking on this. So thank you for watching, and stick around. Wait till you see the final project here.